How is everyone doing? I'm YounesHH. This is Blue Lines TV, and welcome to a live stream. I'm joined today by Have Hope, Younes, and Alex from the Byline. But you guys, before I get into anything, today's video is brought to you by the OneFootball app. As you guys can see here, let me just get that thing patterned up. But anyway, you guys, of course, thank you to everyone that helped support me by downloading the app. There is going to be a link in the description below. I'm always saying every single time, it's the convenience of the app. It's the best companion app to have because, again, you can tailor all the needs and information you want by following players or clubs of your choice. Once you do that, the OneFootball app gives you constant alerts every single time throughout the day from news all across Europe on your club or your player. It's handy, I'm not going to lie. A lot of times, I'm reading articles that I'm not normally seeing on social media or online. So, I'm lucky to be working with OneFootball. And again, thanks to all you guys for supporting me by downloading the app and helping me get these deals. It makes a big difference, you can't imagine. But of course, you guys, that's enough from me. Getting straight back into the live stream. Yeah, I'm going to start with you, Alex. If you introduce yourself to the stream.
Yeah, Alex Goldberg from Twitter. You probably first know me at Alex Goldberg _, and then Nini, I appreciate you saying it. New YouTube channel called The Byline. That's been pretty fun. And just a big fan of all of you as well. So I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, as you guys can see on the screen, Alex's Twitter page should be up there. So if you guys want to give him a follow, of course, make sure you do that. Okay, it's not coming up. That's awkward. I'll fix that later, Alex. Younes, if you introduce yourself too, bro.
YounesHH is my channel. I'm not from Twitter, but Twitter seems to be working nowadays, so yeah. But I've been on here from time to time. It's good to be back. Thanks for the invite, Nini.
Anytime. And Have Hope. Yes, family. Looking forward to having you on for a while. You want to introduce yourself to the stream?
Yeah, man. Have Hope from the Have Hope for Football Hot. You can obviously see me on YouTube, Have Hope Football Hot, and on Twitter at Have Hope Hot. Glad to be part of this. Ready to give some honest takes, man.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
That's what we're here for, and you guys are the perfect guests to have. Unfortunately, Louis wasn't able to attend. He's got business to do, but you guys are what we're here for. We're here to discuss Sarri and how he's doing so far. Now, for me, I think that he's passed his test. I think that he is the right guy we need immediately to help us, help direct us into a new direction. I think now that he's shown that, he is humble enough to adapt. I think he's proven that, number one, he is a fantastic manager because he's always had this in his locker. He's just never decided to use it. And two, it's good that, he's been in a very high pressure situation. His club's on the line. On any of those games he lost, he'd be gone. I saw how Mourinho and Kante reacted when they were under pressure. They were making a lot of crazy decisions. There was one decision by Mourinho I'll never forget where, it was against Crystal Palace. And then what did he do? He brought on Kennedy and Ruben and someone else. And we had 4 strikers up front. And we completely lost the midfield. And it was no surprise we lost the game. And I was like, wow, so this is what pressure does to people. But Sarri has reacted in the right way. He's gone to the squad, he's spoken to people. I think he's commanded his respect from the team as well. And I think that he's done a great job. But obviously I want to start with you, Have Hope. What are your takes on Sarri so far?
It's complicated because I think that we've got to bring in the transfer ban as a possible element into really assessing Sarri and how good he can be moving forward. But we'll just stick to how well he's been. He has a philosophy and he sticks to this philosophy, and it is rigid and he will hardly change. And I think it's key what Nini said is based off the pressure he was on, the Chelsea tactically were the better team in that final, in the Carabao Cup final. And you saw how well they did against Tottenham where they were the better team. So I think for Sarri, it has worked to a degree, but a key thing to understand is this isn't the Serie A, this is the Premier League. This is the most competitive league in the world. So the kind of competition you have in the Serie A is not the same as the Premier League. The speed of the game is far greater in the Premier League than it is in the Serie A. So I do feel that Sarri does, and same thing with Klopp, because I said with Klopp, he doesn't really have a plan B, and he evolved and didn't have a plan B and a plan C when he moved leagues. So I think for Sarri, yes, you have your plan A, which is very intricate and obviously very nice to watch, but you've got to evolve. You've got to really think about, how can I move around Jorginho a little bit? How can I utilize the wing backs a bit more? How can I attack differently? And I think the midfield and messing with the shape with the midfield, I think will help, because when you're dealing with the speed and the intensity of the Premier League, which is unlike any other league, you do have to chop and change. And I don't think that Sarri has the kind of luxury that a Pep has. And even Pep, who has way more money and spends way more than Sarri has and what Sarri can spend, even he changes, because Pep knew that after that first season, oh no, I've got to make substitutions, make changes, move guys from different positions. And I do think that in the Premier League, I don't think that you can survive rigidly sticking to a system, because based on the nature of the league, the Premier League is unique in a way in which you are forced to really manage and really be malleable. So then that's really the question, because if Sarri can change and is able to open himself up to rethink Jorginho's role, rethink Kante's role, and rethink just the formation of the team, I do think he can be successful. But I do feel that if he is rigid and doggedly sticks to his 4-3-3 and the way in which these guys are playing, and Jorginho must stay in that role, because the people know that you isolate Jorginho and you go for Jorginho, that's how you beat Chelsea. If you play fast, you play quick, and you expose Jorginho's lack of speed, that's how you can create chances against Chelsea. So he does need to really open himself up a little bit, and I think that is where some joy can be had.
Okay. Sorry about that. Someone was complaining about the stream. Sorry about that. Is the stream fine? Everyone. But obviously, I understand your take on things. I feel like Sarri has shown signs of some of the things we were talking about as well in regards to adapting. I think, it's been very simple things. I'm going to be releasing my 5 talking points video tomorrow. I'm going to be going in more depth and detail with that, you guys, so stay tuned for that tomorrow. But, Sarri isn't doing anything too crazy right now. It's just telling the team, you know what, I'm bringing back the defensive line a bit. You're not going to press as aggressively or as high. And that's the only difference. I mean, people are talking about different formations Sarri's using. I mean, it's not. It's always been a very flexible system. When we start pressing, it's 4-4-2. We use 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, and 4-5-1. So, I mean, it's the same stuff we've always used, but just pressing differently. That's always been the main issue. It's never been Jorginho or anything like that. It's the fact that, when we press, it's poor. There's no intensity. We're not as strong. We don't win our tackles. When you look at the top teams like Liverpool, look at Man City, that's the difference. That's how you press. I mean, I saw Liverpool's performance against Bayern Munich. It was a fantastic pressing performance by them. I mean, from the first 10 minutes, Neuer lost the ball like 3 or 4 times. So, yeah, that goes to show you just how far we are from being that type of team. So I think that Sarri made the right choices now by, looking at the ability of his squads and just thinking, you know what, you guys can't do this. There's no point fighting a losing battle. Let's adapt things and try and get the best out of everything. And I think now this is why, we're seeing Aspi, who was very good against Spurs, coming through. Alonso too as well. Is it really a surprise? Not really, because if you've got like Cover and helping you defend the half space, and you've got Kante on the other side helping you defend the half space, look how much more solid you become. Yeah, one of you guys.
I've already spoken, so I'll just give you.
I thought you were sending it back to Double H. Go on.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know what I was doing, mate.
You want to take it?
Yeah. I mean, because I've already spoken, so I'll respond after Younes and Alex have.
Yeah. You guys can talk too. Don't worry.
Cool. Okay. To answer your question, Nini, I think you got it spot on with Sarri has passed the test. I think my personal experience, and those who've seen my reviews and all that will know.
Yeah.
I was willing to give Sarri the time. And then it came to a point where we started losing. We lost to Bournemouth, we lost to Leicester, Wolves, all of that. Being there for the 6-0 in person, just unbelievable. It got to a point where I started to question, is Sarri that stubborn that he's not going to change anything? And my 2 little things were either tweaking the system, not necessarily changing the formation or doing something drastic, just tweaking and playing players that deserve to play and not playing players that don't deserve to play.
Yeah.
Those were my two issues. It got to a point where we were seeing the same lineups. We were seeing the same players like Alonso and Barkley who weren't playing well.
Yeah.
Pedro who wasn't playing well. They were continuously being picked. Loftus-Cheek was left on the bench. Loftus-Cheek had that injury. Hudson-Odoi left on the bench. Not even left on the bench. It's not being used. And it got frustrating. We were losing games. You're thinking, are you not changing anything? I started to question. I really started to question.
Yeah, I hear what you mean. But still, I still say by this day that, obviously Sarri came out to say himself that Ruben had his injuries. So I think that needs to be something that needs to, people need to just accept, you know what I mean? But no, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. But of course, Alex, man, we're missing your voice right now. Let's hear your thoughts and takes on everything.
Yeah, so, I'm not ready to say that Sarri has changed, but I am ready to say that Sarri is starting to change. And, in your first season in the Premier League, you got to work out the kinks in your first season in the Premier League. You absolutely do. And I think Sarri was stubborn in admitting that there were kinks to work out, but it obviously got to just the banter extreme where he had to, because obviously his job was under fire and he was under pressure. And hey, sometimes when people are under pressure, Marcos Alonso the other day, you perform better. And I think it goes for managers in some scenarios, but like you said, Nini, maybe not for other managers like Mourinho way back when. But clearly Sarri was actually able to handle some of the pressure he's had recently. And I think he's had a good week. That's the way I would define it. I think because, I noticed actually, Nini, you said, and I'm glad you said this, because you said he would have been gone if Chelsea had lost the last couple games. Well, actually, they did lose on Sunday, but didn't it feel like a win?
Exactly.
It really did feel like a win. And we kind of knew. The rumor was if Chelsea lost in losing fashion, and they didn't lose in losing fashion. And we all agreed, I think all of us agreed that Sunday's performance from Maurizio Sarri was top notch.
I think it was his best performance for us so far. Yeah,
I think it was. From starting Emerson in a cup final. It's one thing to start Emerson in a Europa League game, but to start him then a few days later in a cup final, when, by the way, Sarri is thirsty for a trophy. So, sure, the Premier League and Europa League are the top priorities for the club because of Champions League qualification. But if you know anything about Sarri, you know he does want a damn trophy. So
100%.
That was a very important game for him. So he starts Emerson, which was a big win for him. And then obviously he dropped his pride in terms of he wasn't going to play his football against Manchester City. He obviously changed some things up. Not that he changed his formation really, but he had the team sit deeper.
Yeah.
He had Hazard at false nine. He made the necessary adjustments that he knew he kind of had to make. He just might not wanted to have made. And then the substitution with Hudson-Odoi and Loftus-Cheek first off the bench. That was a big game for Sarri. And then yesterday, it was different. It wasn't necessarily the personnel we wanted to see, but he also knew, I got to get Alonso in there just because Emerson's played a lot. And also, maybe Sarri also knew, if there's ever a time Alonso's going to give us a good performance, it's once I've pretty much said Emerson is my guy. So that's a little bit of good player management there for Maurizio Sarri. And, of course, we did like the fact that he also then started switching from a 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1. So if you take Sunday's performance and you take yesterday's performance, I feel like between Sundays with Emerson starting and the substitutions and him putting his pride aside, and then yesterday's performance of the tactics actually being better, I feel like he's now given us a week full of a less rigid manager. But the reason why I started this answer by saying he's starting to change is I still obviously need to see it for longer. By no means have I ever been Sarri out or saying he deserves to lose his job.
Exactly. Never have.
Take a step back from it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree.
Chelsea, just last thing, Chelsea are still, our goal in August was top 4 Champions League football for next year. We are still within striking reach of that.
Yeah.
So
it's not over yet.
He's doing his thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely not over yet, and I'm hoping maybe in the future all of us can come back on again and talk about our top 4 hopes. But I agree with what you're saying, Alex. 100% right. Sarri proves to everyone that he is a great manager. I think everyone thought he was a one-trick pony, but as Sarri kept saying time and time again, he wants to perfect Plan A. He never said that he doesn't have a Plan B. He never said that. He just said that he wants to perfect Plan A. I think he got to the point where he realised, I don't think this team can do it. maybe those defeats against City and Bournemouth came at the right time to really, really help him see the squad and team for what it was. Imagine if we didn't lose 6-0 and 4-0 to Bournemouth. Imagine he's thinking, oh, okay, maybe it can still work. He might be out of a job right now. Maybe we're not going to see that performance against Man City in the cup final, or that performance against Spurs last night. So, it's funny how things work out. To help people. But
can I just ask the group a quick question?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So again, this is just for all of you three guys, and just answer. So, because again, Nini, you just made an interesting point about how Sarri wants to perfect Plan A rather than worry about a Plan B, and Guardiola made that point in his documentary where I don't worry about the opposition or a Plan B. If we get Plan A working to the best of our ability, we can't lose. That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
But my thing is this: if Sarri is all about let's perfect a Plan A, the players as perfectly constructed, and I don't know whether we'll bring in the transfer ban. Let's just argue, for argument's sake, let's say the transfer ban does go through and there's no one can be bought until January 2020. The players as currently constructed, how well can Chelsea do with Sarri with these current crop of players with Sarri's Plan A? Honestly speaking, with Willian, Pedro, and so forth. I have my views on those players and their ability and their ceiling.
No, I agree, and I think this is the realization Sarri came to. Like, your point touches on nicely to the last point I made, and I think he realized at the right time that Pep has a point, but you need 14 good players first. You know what I mean? So we clearly don't have that. He's realized that. So this is why he's been much more faithful to the squad in regards to going back to what they know. And I honestly, I think the best of both worlds. I mean, it's something I've always touched upon for a long time. I remember when there was that game that Giroud played where he had like a massive impact coming on as a sub. And it's like, we looked more threatening when we played more direct to him. And I was saying in the video, the 5 talking points video, that maybe this is something Sarri has to embrace in the team. We're not going to be perfect getting Sarri ball, right? But does that mean that we shouldn't rely on Plan B if we have one? So I think, this is, again, perfect timing. Sarri's realised, and I think that next year he'll restart the project again. He can get, better players tailored around what he needs.
Yeah, and just remember, I mean, Sarri's still, it's his first year in the Premier League, but he still didn't even get a full summer that most managers get.
Exactly.
I mean, that was a really unique summer. He was appointed late. I mean, that is the toughest out of the 4 years, out of the 4 different summers, obviously, because the World Cup comes around every 4 years.
Yeah.
That's the trickiest summer to start as a new manager. So you do have to keep that in mind, and then have hope. What you just said about how well will Plan A work, even if they know it really, really well with a Willian and a Pedro. I love you bringing that up, because that points to, okay, Sarri does need to use some of his toys a little bit better. He needs to mix and match a little bit better, because he does have a Hudson-Odoi, Loftus-Cheek, even an Ampadu, if you want to get that extreme, at his disposal now. But it really does point the finger where it should be pointed first and foremost, and that's at the club. That's at forward level, because they need to understand, and hopefully they do this summer when hopefully they can make acquisitions. They need to understand, you want to keep Sarri, you want to back Sarri, you want him to be himself. Well, he's going to want to do Plan A, so give him the right tools for Plan A.
100%. And I think, I was making this point a while back, and I was basically saying that, when Sarri took over, let's understand the context, and he was at Napoli trying to win the Scudetto with them. Do you really think he's looking at the club, really looking at Alonso deeply and Aspi deeply? No. Where did he have the time to do that once the season ended? He didn't. So I still stand by the fact that I think that everyone overestimated the squad's ability. Sarri was saying a lot of crazy stuff like, I can imagine that, Alonso, I can make him a world-class player. That's not going to happen. I don't think Sarri's ever going to say that again. You know what I mean?
No.
Exactly. But it sums up that, he overestimated the squad's abilities, and, it's good that he's kind of, calmed things down a bit and gone back to a style of football that this team knows a bit. And I think that it's the best of both worlds. I mean, look at Kante last season. We played, quite similar in the sense that it was about, keeping position and, moving in the lines together and stuff like that. But we didn't have the ability to beat a press and play out from the back. We couldn't do that. We would hoof it long. We'd lose possession every time. And all our counter-attacks were shit because people just kept hoofing it long and hoping someone's going to run on the end of it. But under Sarri now, Now we've got another dimension because we've got a manager that's coached the players and improved them and added something to their game now, or you play to the best strengths of some of these players' games, and now we can create good counter-attacking opportunities. So I think that from now till the end of the season, knowing that we don't have many big games coming for a while now, I'm quite optimistic about how our season's going to look from now on.
It's going to be interesting with the pre-season as well.
Yeah.
Because I have hope. You raised a great question, to be fair. If the transfer ban does go ahead and the club have appealed, so 99% chance is that we are going to be able to buy this summer. If we don't, because it's possible, then we would definitely have to rely on our youth product, on the players out on loan, call them all back. Your Mason Mounts, your Reece James, your De Silvas, maybe even your Tammy Abrahams. Like, you got to call everyone back, spend a whole pre-season with them and try and get them to adapt, because there isn't anyone else. Pulisic coming in as well, don't forget him. So we'd have him and Odoi as our wingers. It could work, but Sarri needs a whole pre-season with them. Hopefully we can still buy it.
Exactly, that's the thing. Sarri never had a pre-season, so it's just further giving more evidence to my theory that you didn't really have the time to assess the squad properly. Think about it like this: you hear of Marcos Alonso, he scored 7 goals in the league. The media and everyone's talking about him being a great player. You're just gonna have on your mind that, I guess Marcos Alonso is a good player then, without actually really seeing his strengths and weaknesses. So yeah, I mean, this is what I mean. Like you said, Younes, next season when he has a pre-season, he has the advantage of knowing all the weaknesses and strengths of the players he has. He knows. Listen, I kept hearing stuff around like the winter period of Sarri being interested in this player and that player, like guys like Owa and some guys from Empoli. Remember when I texted you, Alex, back then about some Empoli players as well. So to me, it told me straight away that Sarri realised, shit, this team isn't as good as what I thought. I need some reinforcements. Was it a surprise that Barella and Paredes were 2 signings that we both wanted to come? Like that would have been the end for guys like Cover and Barkley. If that was the case then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I have one criteria for Chelsea this summer, and that's assuming charge. It's really, I guess, for any manager, but specific. He needs to be with these players a little bit longer, coach them up, and really have the right tools for his system. Assuming what Younes said, assuming Chelsea can make transfers this summer, I need Chelsea, if they're going to go for players, and they may have to overpay because they're not going to have leverage with other clubs, but if they're going to go for players, go early, act swiftly, no panic buys. You either get the players that are really suited for the system, and you might have to judge that all on your own, Chelsea, Marina, whoever's in charge, because Sarri might help, might not.
Yeah.
But no panic buys. You either get the prime targets or you recall the worthy youth players, hopefully both. But no mediocre late buys, because that is a way to pork Sarri for next year.
Exactly. But I think hopefully, Sarri isn't someone that demands a lot, which is useful. And I'm guessing the club, we know what type of profile of play he wants. I mean, all the midfield players were these quite small, very stocky midfield players with technique that can, play in different positions in midfield. So we've got an idea on the areas that Sarri wants to strengthen in for next season. But of course, maybe this is a good way to, move on nicely to just talking about, Sarri, and if we think he's going to turn to using some of the young guys as the season ends. Of course, actually, let's get straight into that now. Let me just finish my other point. Do we think that he's going to start turning to Hudson-Odoi a lot more now, knowing that our next one of the games is going to be a lot easier?
I mean, it's strange because I feel that Hudson-Odoi should be starting ahead of Willian and Pedro. Yeah. Again, I've said this many times and people call me crazy, Pedro hasn't been relevant since 2011. And people may say that's a bit harsh or extreme, but I mean, Pedro once in a while can have a game like a Tottenham. He can have an amazing game, but as far as a season where he's consistently playing at a high level for a season, that was way back in 2011, where he gave you a season of where this guy is a high level player. So, and with Willian, inconsistent. Willian can be really good. Other times, his football decision-making can be completely and totally awful. The thing with Hudson-Odoi is, especially with the system that Sarri is playing Hudson-Odoi, he's far more direct. And that is the issue with a Pedro and Willian. They dribble sideways. So they're not having a perpetual direct movement. And when you look at what Hazard is doing, Hazard is always looking for the 1-2. Yeah. And when Hazard is looking for the 1-2, he's looking for a sharp, direct movement. And with Hudson-Odoi, he's far sharper, direct, and going forward. Yeah. But if he's now utilizing the 1-2, which is how you create space with a Willian or a Pedro, they slow it down because their natural inclination is to dribble in diagonals and in sideways, not to go straight and not to go forward.
Yeah.
So
no variety.
So for Sarri, I think, will he use it? To be honest, I have no idea. I have no idea whether he will actually turn and trust him a lot more, because I still feel he's very old school and he trusts, and I think he sees and believes more in the whole seniority thing. But you look at a guy like Solari. Yeah. Do you know how big of a move it is to bench Bale and starts Vinicius, who is 18? But look at how amazing Vinicius has been.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's fully deserved. I mean, Vinicius now, I think he's got his first call up for the Brazil team. So, Hudson-Odoi is proven already to me that he should be playing a lot more. Look at the player ratings he's getting, match ratings. It's always in the 8s every single time. So that's the one. I think Sarri's so close now, and I'm hoping now, because our next run of games, we've got Fulham, Dynamo Kiev, Wolves, Kiev again, Everton, Cardiff, West Ham. Liverpool's our next big game. That's like in April. So we've got, we're at a time now where we've got a week's rest in between. Players are going to be fitter. And I think now is the time where Sarri can maybe look to, rotate a bit more. And hopefully he is going to turn to using guys like Emerson, Ruben, and Hudson-Odoi. He kind of hinted towards the fact that left-hand side could potentially be Ruben, Hazard, and Emerson. Obviously, we saw it against Man City. And I'm thinking, if we're going to be playing, using that left-hand side in such a massive, high-profile game like that, it's clear that maybe you've had the idea of using these guys for a while. So I'm hoping that within the next 2 months, we are going to see Sarri start to use a lot of these more technical players now.
I agree completely, to be honest. And personally, I reckon Hudson-Odoi needs to be given that chance now to play week in, week out in the Premier League. He's been given Europa League runs, England Cup runs. He got brought on in the final, which I thought was fantastic, and that's one of the reasons why I began to think Sarri's beginning to change, which is wonderful. Now would be the time to push on. I think especially after the whole Kepa scandal and what happened, I think Sarri handled that perfectly. I think everyone handled it perfectly. Sarri now looks like he has the authority. So give the chance to Hudson-Odoi. Let him run with it, because we all know he's the best winger we have aside from Eden Hazard. Let him play week in, week out in the Premier League, and let him get that experience, just like other youngsters got at their clubs. You look at Alexander-Arnold and Dele Alli and all those players that came through at such a young age. 1 or 2 years later, they're first teamers. That's Hudson-Odoi. He really has that potential. So I'm hoping now, with an easier games coming up, it's a no-brainer for me. No-brainer.
Yeah, no-brainer. But I think, not going to lie, even before I see Hudson-Odoi, I think I need to see Ruben playing as the number 8. I think from now on, he needs to start. I think he should be fit enough right now. Sarri's been using him more and more. I'm hoping against Fulham on Sunday, I'm hoping Sarri's going to start him. That's the one big thing I want to see. I'm hoping that Emerson comes back. I'm hoping that he starts to rotate a bit more. I wouldn't mind seeing Christensen play against Fulham, I think that's what he needs to start doing now. And I think that, I can guarantee the players would have spoken to him about him not rotating as much. 100% they would have complained about that. And it's starting to slowly look like Sarri is going to start rotating more. But, Alex, what are you thinking? Obviously, you're still quite pessimistic towards the fact that you need to see a lot more from Sarri first. Now, what's like an example of like a piece of evidence you need to see from Sarri that will let you know that, I'm really about using, some of these guys now?
Exactly what we're talking about in terms of it. It's Fulham on Sunday. They're in shambles. They just sacked their manager. And I feel bad. Honestly, I think we all do as Chelsea fans for Claudio and everybody. But they're just not in a good spot right now. I understand.
Not Scott Parker, but that's okay.
Yeah, Scott Parker's back. That's going to be interesting, that one.
Yeah, so that's a game where so yesterday's game that was just a great result. We can debate all day if it was a great performance, but it was a great result. Yet getting those 3 points against Spurs was massive. And now it's a little bit lighter. So you got Fulham, and that is the game where you should experiment a little bit more. And I hate to even say that putting in Loftus-Cheek and Christensen and Hudson-Odoi and Emerson's experimenting, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Then you got Dynamo Kiev on Thursday, and it really is important. Even though Chelsea are the better team in that tie, it is important to probably put out one of your strongest squads, one of the squads that started for us in that game, so you can start that tie convincingly. So maybe for the second leg, you can then rotate again. So that means Fulham. The Fulham game is where if Sarri does, and I'll be easy. I'll go easy on him. Just like you just said, Nini.
Yeah.
Just one. Give me Ruben starting. Just give me Ruben starting. And that shows me that Sarri knows that down the stretch, especially since Premier League and Europa League both right now have a lot of value, down the stretch, you will need to rotate in these positions where there's not a clear-cut favorite like an Hazard or a Kante. Rotate when you can. If you remember back to the beginning of the season when Ruben was in great form before he got that back injury, I feel like all three of the left center mids were playing pretty well. Barkley had a nice run of form in the beginning. Kovacic was pretty solid. And I feel like that inner competition was really, really paying dividends at the left center mid spot. And then Ruben goes down. And honestly, you can almost parallel the timeline when Ruben went down and he was really playing really well. And then Chelsea started to really fall off. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, you know how I feel about Hudson-Odoi. You know how I feel about Hudson-Odoi. But I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, if there's one X factor, it's Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And if Sarri starts him on Sunday, I will start to think, all right, Sarri's getting it. He really is getting it.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because I think against Fulham, I mean, what tactical threat are they really going to pose us? Let's be serious. I mean, they're one of the favourites to get relegated right now. And, the big issue that we've been facing as a team for the past few years now is that we don't score enough goals. So now, against a team like Fulham, who will be coming here to defend and defend with their lives, we have to see some of the ballers playing now. We got to see Ruben. We got to see Hudson-Odoi. But Alex, one thing I wanted to ask you, it's a bit random, but obviously, we all remember when Hudson-Odoi gave you a shout out on Twitter. Like, how did you feel in that moment? Like, what was the story behind that? Might as well spill the beans, bro.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, the cool thing was, that was obviously set up by a now good friend who knows him obviously. Yeah. More personally, as you guys know, I'm not in the UK, but hearing him say, thanks for supporting me for years. The plural years was I appreciated that. But I mean, all jokes aside, like the one thing that bothered me in January, and I couldn't push it too much because like I really am gonna look like a Hudson-Odoi fanboy. But the one thing I was just trying to stress to people, and it's not like I know him personally, but everything I've heard about him, and Nini, you've probably heard things too and stuff from people who maybe know him better. But everything I've heard about him from people I trust is he loves the club. Like, he loves Chelsea. So that was a situation for me in January. It was like, I can keep going, the chosen one, and like do all that stuff. But like on a real level, like real talk, I know he loves the club. He absolutely does. But he was, and the transfer request thing, like, let's put that aside. But he was caring about his future first and foremost. So it's so easy where we sit, right, to say, oh, no, if I was at the club that long, I would never do that. Yeah. How do you know what you would do if you aren't in that situation when your buddy, Jadon Sancho, is killing it over in the Bundesliga?
Of course.
By the way, you were rated just throughout the England youth ranks. You were right there. Some people thought you were better than Sancho. Now he's playing first-team football and killing it, and you're, at the time, rotting on the bench. It's like, it's so easy for us fans to say what we would do, but we really don't know what we would do unless we're in their spot.
And I'm happy that you brought up that tangent, because a lot of times when I talk about football, I like to try and make people think about the human side behind things. I feel that a lot of times we fall into the trap of just seeing these guys as pixels on a screen or something like that, and we forget the real world implications. But yeah, man, that's obviously sick. Waking up one day just seeing that Hudson-Odoi is casually giving you a shout on Twitter. You know what I mean? It's cool. But getting back to before I get back in the football talk, I can't forget you guys. Of course, this live stream is brought to you by the One Football app. It sounds like I'm shamelessly plugging, but But I got to you guys. So
pay those bills, man. Pay those bills.
Go for it, man. Go for it. We don't blame you.
But you gotta pay
hey,
those bills,
I need
man.
to eat, man. Yeah, exactly. Of course. Like, how am I going to pay these
Bread.
bills? Exactly. But of course, you guys, if you want to help support me out, actually, I'm not going to lie, you guys have done a lot for me already. I mean, all the support, we're watching the content and stuff. So, I'm very appreciative for everything. Of course, I want to say thank you to the super chats. Thank you for the super chats earlier as well. Means a lot. But you guys, in the link in the description below is the link to the One Football app. Of course, if you want all your football news, if you want all your football discussion, if you want to vote on who your man of the match was, I mean, honestly, it's the best companion app to have. It's a great football hub, and it's in your pocket. So you guys, if you want to help me out, in the link in the description below will be a link to the One Football app. Of course, getting back into things, I've finished now, you guys. No more of these, no more plugs. Don't worry, we're all good now. But have hope, man. Have hope. I know you've been just like quietly simmering in the corner. I know you're thinking of some. I know you got some fire to throw at us.
Oh,
right
no.
now,
I've got
100%.
a lot of huge talking points, and I
Cool.
need
Go for it, man.
hardcore honesty on them. So obviously, I don't know whether there's stuff that you want to talk about, but there are a few things that I need some honest takes on. So,
Cool.
okay, so let me.
I'm interested now. Let's hear it.
Okay.
I'm
Let me
intrigued.
throw this out. I want to talk about the role of Kante. Because this is something that I've sort of battled with and everything. So I'm sure you guys, being experts and knowing the details of the game, will obviously be able to really get a handle on it. My thing is this. I am conflicted about this. So when Sarri decided that, you know what, I'm going to put Jorginho sitting in the hole, protecting the defense, and Kante, I'm going to play you further up.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Homeboy just won the World Cup playing as the DM. And the first few games, I was like, I can see this naturally, just because whenever I watch football, I don't use stats. I just use the eye test, because I'm a lot older. So
yeah, of course.
back in the 90s, we didn't have WhoScored.com. You just had to view the game.
Yeah.
So viewing it, I was like, Kante just looks uncomfortable in those attacking areas. But what surprised me was, like, my God, I didn't know how versatile Kante was. And as the games have gone on, he has improved his goal scoring, how he launches attacks, his passing. And one of Kante's best aspects is his football decision making.
Exactly. Thank you.
But my thing is this, is that despite all of that, I still feel, so do you guys, and this is why I want your guys' views on this, do you still feel that Kante should still sort of protect the defense, where his reading of the game and ability to intercept play can be better utilized, and still be a box-to-box that can still launch attacks and bring up? Or do you feel that it is fine the way it is, having Kante played further up, but not really have the ability to protect the defense? Which, let's be real, Luis, Rudiger, they need the protection, and I don't think Jorginho has the ability to read the game and intercept the way that Kante does.
But that's the thing. This is where the tactics come into play, though, because obviously, the reason my teams have been setting up, using these mid-block tactics and attacking us down the flanks is because their whole plan is they want to separate Rudiger, Luis, and Jorginho. You got to see these guys as like the last men standing type of thing. The minute it gets to those three, it means that all the other players above messed up, didn't do their jobs, didn't close the pass down, didn't win the tackle, etc., etc. Jorginho is not supposed to be going wides. So when he's doing that, of course there'll be times when he does every now and then, but if he's doing that regularly, it means that our pressing ain't working. And as I said, as the season went on, when teams started to pose us different threats and issues, that's when we noticed that we're not as good at this style of football as we thought. And you could see with our pressing how disjointed it was, how easy it was for teams to cut through us. I think I blame Lampard. It was when Derby came, they set the blueprint that every team's used since, and that's what I mean. So I don't even think it's a case of needing Kante there, because I think same circumstances of Kante's playing there, yeah, maybe he might win a few more 50-50s, but fundamentally he's going to be getting stretched and dragged out of position non-stop. So I mean, you're still going to be having your issues, because the fullbacks are still going to leave the space in behind. So like, people keep thinking that Kante playing there will just like circumvent everything. No. I mean, when you look at, you made the point about obviously Kante playing for France as well, playing as a DM. Obviously, France are playing a lot more defensive. Similar to our performance against Spurs in that sense. But of course, Kante, I think he works. I don't know. I think Kante's better defending in the half spaces compared to being the guy in the middle, because I think if Kante's, helping, like, defend against like a De Bruyne, Eriksen, or, etc., etc., which he's done really well these past 2 games. I mean, David Silva, going to get nothing from Kante. But of course, when he plays in that role, that means that he's allowed to then carry it forward. That means that he's allowed to then break. If he's going to be the guy in the middle, he's going to have to release the ball and pass it to someone. So I think that, I think the role Kante is playing in now, that's his best role. I mean, looking throughout his career, he's always kind of played this role. You know what I mean? Sarri's the guy that's really allowing him to play as an actual game. And we're seeing a Kante that's getting better and better. I think that he'll get maybe 1 more goal before the season ends. My target was for him to get 5 goals this season, which I think he's going to do. I think next year he's going to come back even stronger. He's going to look even better. And this is why I was excited about Sarri, because, I wanted to see him coach some of these players and see if they get better. And I think that Kante is a testament to that. No, I know that was a long-ass answer. That was really long. I know. My bad.
Personally, cheers, man. Personally, a lot of people know how I feel about Kante. I think the guy's a machine.
Yeah.
Kante is Kante. I love Kante. He can play anywhere.
Like, imagine he played 120 minutes against City.
Exactly.
Very intense, and against Spurs like that.
The way he played yesterday,
he's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah, incredible.
He's unbelievable. So yes, he can play anywhere, whether he's sitting deep or whether he's playing in the role that he's playing now, box to box, going a bit more forward. He can play there. My original concern was with Jorginho and how he was going to adapt to the Premier League, how he was going to adapt to the system. He was getting exposed in terms of teams focusing on him, but there's one reason for that, and that's our fullbacks not doing their jobs because they can't.
Exactly.
They can't. Alonso, Aspi they don't have the legs to be able to push forward and press high, because the moment they get exposed, the other team doesn't need to worry about the wings. They just think, focus down the middle, shut Jorginho down, and we've stopped Chelsea. If we have fullbacks that were able to penetrate and cause a threat, that causes the opposition to think we've got 2 threats on our sides, that's going to eliminate a little bit of pressure off Jorginho.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that will come with time, especially hopefully next season, where we have fullbacks that are young and vibrant, Emerson and maybe Reece James, or who knows. Kante can play anywhere. I think he's done fantastic this year, as well as how he's done previously. And just honestly, his energy levels are unbelievable. What I think he can do this season, just for the remainder at least, is offensively keep doing what he's doing. He has the energy and he has the legs. So defensively, when we're defending, come deep, sit next to Jorginho as a 2. And that might be able to protect the centre-backs even more. We're already sitting back as we did the last 2 games against City and Spurs, and I don't know how long that's going to continue in terms of everyone sitting a little deeper. But we know Kante has the energy. So personally, I would say keep doing what you're doing. But if you can, when we're being exposed, or if the other team are on the break, come a little bit deeper and sit next to Jorginho and help him out.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted
to just ask you quickly. Yeah, sorry, I wanted to ask you. The point I made. What did you think of that? I wanted to just get your thoughts and opinions on that.
Oh, why? With regards to
maybe when you were making that point about Kante, thinking that maybe you feel that maybe he'd be better playing DM over Jorginho to help protect like Luiz and Rudiger.
Oh, because you see, it's like, I get what you're saying with regards to him defending the half space, and almost with regards to the pressing, winning the ball higher up so that you don't expose Jorginho, Luiz, and Rudiger being the last men. So if you win the ball higher up, that's then sort of keeps the pressure Chelsea and attacker-wise. Which, you know what, it is fair though. It is fair. But I think linking to your points and the point that Younes is making is, we're asking Kante to do a lot of work, and I think that's where Younes is going towards. If we're saying that, so he wants Kante when we're defending to be standing right next to Jorginho, but when we're attacking, he's literally in the last third.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of pitch to really cover. You attacking in the last third, and when you have the ball, get all the way back into defense. We don't have the ball, go and support. I mean, that is a lot to ask for. But also, just to respond to what Younes is saying, and I think Nini agreed to it, Kante's strongest asset isn't his energy or his legs, his decision making. His decision making is amazing, because that is the most underrated asset in football. You can have all the talent in the world, you can do all the skills and everything. In those decisions where you make the through ball, a pass to feet, is it the right weighted pass? Is it a pass? Do you see the run being made? That is one of the most, and Kante, every single time, 9 times out of 10, he always makes the right footballing decision, which is so key in those attacking areas.
Exactly. No, you're right. You're right.
To be fair, just to add on to have Herb's point, because there is someone that does agree with you, Double H. If you saw, what was it? It wasn't the game on the weekend. It was the game against City, because John Terry was a pundit. And he said that he would consider just switching Kante and Jorginho.
Yeah,
that's his personal opinion. But,
I mean, think about it like this. Let me just say this. Of course, with Kante, against City and Spurs, we've seen that he's been the guy that makes runs out wide to help, obviously, receive the ball, stretch your play, etc., etc. Can you really see Jorginho doing the same thing out wide? It was like when Kante was using Drinkwater as a box-to-box mid last season. Exactly. So I mean, I don't agree with Terry.
Yeah, I don't agree with Terry, and I'm still confused. I really don't think Terry was suggesting for Maurizio Sarri to do it, because I think he knows that Sarri uses a regista. So I think maybe he was saying if he had the reins. I still disagree with him, because we all know N'Golo Kante has never been a lone DM. He's never been a lone DM. He's always had a Matic or a Drinkwater or a Fabregas next to him. And I think all of you make really good points. I think the pressuring the ball versus not pressuring the ball has definitely impacted, definitely yesterday against Spurs, maybe why he was so damn effective. But I really think it's so important to, on any team, in any sport, you build around your best players. So N'Golo Kante is undoubtedly one of Chelsea's best players. And one of Napoli's characteristics last year, besides triangular passing, was obviously pressing the ball. And I think Maurizio Sarri has now realized, all right, well, I can still have my system, my football, but I do need to make some tweaks on maybe the artillery I have here versus what I had at Napoli. And really with Kante, and I do agree with you, Naz, when they're defending deep, he should come closer to Jorginho, protect the back four. However, just like Eden Hazard, and I'm not saying they're all the same player, obviously, but Hazard loves to be in a free role. Like, Hazard's a left winger, but he really loves to be in a free role. And N'Golo Kante's a right center mid right now, and he's been a DM before. But really, N'Golo Kante is at his best when he's in a more or less free midfield role. And if he knows the system, he knows the tactics all better. But think about it like this. When he was in that 4-2-3-1 with Nemanja Matic, right? Matic was his partner. Matic was still the player that was much more true to his area. Kante was the one who was still flying around everywhere.
Exactly.
Drinkwater at Leicester when they were playing.
Same thing,
Same thing.
Drinkwater was the more stationary player. Kante was still the one who was going up and down. Fabregas does not have legs. He was still the more stationary player. So I think to a certain extent, you just have to realize that Kante can have tweaks to his game plan. There can definitely be assignments, but still, he is at his best when you just let him boss the pitch. He really is.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully it's going to end this argument that Sarri should be using Kante as a DM. I just don't think that it doesn't make no sense. But I want to ask you guys something quickly. In the long term, do you think that both Kante and Jorginho can survive at the club at the same time? I mean, you could say that if Sarri ever left, would that spell the end for Jorginho?
Yes, 100%.
Yes, I think so.
Jorginho is very critical to what Sarri is about. If you bring in a manager who doesn't have the same philosophy as Sarri, I don't know what a manager can do with Jorginho. Because Sarri's football is pretty much based on let's be intricate and keep the ball, and we are passing away towards creating a chance. That's how they do it. So if, let's say, for example, you bring in an Ancelotti, where it's like, no, we're trying to create a chance with as few passes as possible. What's the point of having a Jorginho? And because Ancelotti is old school, I know I want a proper DM who will protect my defense while all of my guys attack. Jorginho is literally which is why Sarri is so adamant that he plays him there, because he's very important to how he sees the game. So it is what it is. And I think that with Jorginho and It's weird because like I didn't think that they could coexist. I was like, no, this doesn't make sense. Kante's role is the DM role, and Kante's playing the role that he doesn't really know. But as I've watched this more and more, and with every game, Kante is improving. And Kante is actually showing that, oh, no, he actually knows how to play. He actually knows how to bring the ball up. He's actually getting better and much more comfortable on the ball. You know, he's actually improving his composure on the ball. Yeah. Maybe it is a case of where, oh, that's cool. But my only thing is, which is where the whole thing of management comes in. Against particular teams who are very fast and break very quick, Jorginho being left alone there is going to be an issue, because once guys run past Jorginho, they will run past Jorginho.
Exactly.
Kante will hand you down and he will chase you. Jorginho can't chase you the way that Kante can.
But so that's the issue. Exactly. But Sarri's actually done something better than just using Jorginho and Kante together. I've said it quite a lot. You know, I'm going to keep saying it. Obviously, that flat midfield three. That's what we've used against City. That's what we use against, Spurs as well. Of course, with that 4-5-1. When you have that flat midfield three with the wide midfielder, helping support the other players in the half spaces. I said that so wrong. Obviously, they're helping out to defend in the half spaces. This is why we could see that, Spurs and Man City could do nothing between the lines or in the half space. So I think that's a much better way of protecting, because that means that, your midfielders don't have to run as much. And I think that, let's say you've got the winger and you've got the fullback supporting each other. When you've got that wide midfielder that comes in from late to assess everything to help add some more pressing, I think this is why we've been so solid against some fantastic teams in those areas. So yeah.
Yeah, I think for Jorginho and Kante to work for the long term, I mean, it's definitely now there are ways to figure it out for the short term against bigger opposition. But I think for them to really work for the long term, and by the way, Kante has been much better this year attacking-wise than many of us thought he may be. Yeah. However, it's still not fair for him to be the third best attacker on the team. So I think the key to all of this is the LCM. And I think, sure,
exactly,
against Manchester City, if Barkley knows his role, it can work if everybody's hitting on all cylinders. And yesterday, Kovacic he pressed the ball well, he played well defensively. But I think for the long term, this is why Ruben Loftus-Cheek is so necessary, because he do something that Jorginho and Kante never will. Never will. And it allows Kante, when push comes to shove, if Kante has to choose, allows Kante to maybe worry a little bit more about the defensive half.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
the midfielders, and you can almost rotate them, and then Ruben becomes the player that can actually link the midfield to the attack. So I really think once again, Loftus-Cheek is key.
Yeah, exactly. 100% agree. 100% agree. I also think too that maybe Jorginho wouldn't be able to last here forever. I mean, if you're going to bring back guys like Mason Mount, for example, you can't have three players fighting for one position. I mean, I can only see maybe Kante moving deeper and maybe Mount taking up one of them spaces. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens between Jorginho and Sarri. I think that, I don't know, I always felt that if you're signing Jorginho, that's a commitment to Sarri that you're going to be here in the long term, because he's such a niche player. It's like how could you really make money from him if he sold him?
He's his boy. It's his boy. That's his son, pretty much.
Of course.
If Sarri were to leave, I believe City would come in for him again.
Yeah,
just like
I think so.
They'd probably come in for him again. They're not stupid. It would work for Guardiola's system just as well as it is meant for Sarri's system. He'd probably rotate with Fernandinho or play alongside him or do something. But it's definitely a commitment to Sarri, and I think if Sarri was to go, it'd be the end of Jorginho.
Yeah, I think so. But you guys, I think that's going to bring an end to today's live stream. Any other talking points you want to address before we keep it moving?
I mean, maybe just before we go. So what do you think was going to happen with Hazard this summer?
Hazard.
I mean that's obviously a huge topic, because again, I think there are two ways of viewing this. If the transfer ban goes through and if it doesn't go through, because again, Real Madrid is obviously the club that's hovering through. He said he's made his decision and everything. So my main thing is that because I'm leading towards he's probably going to go this summer, but I don't know where you guys are leading towards. What do you think is going to happen with Hazard this summer?
Younes, I'll let you take that.
I think he's going. In all honesty, I think Madrid will come in. It's a matter of if Madrid are going to come in. If they contact Chelsea and say, we want Eden, Eden's probably going to turn out to the club and say, look, if they've come in for me, I'm gone. If they don't make a move, he's staying, 100%. But I do think this summer they'll definitely make a move. I don't think they're going to go for Neymar or Mbappe. I think it's too much effort and really unlikely. Hazard is the most likely one, and he's already expressed his willingness to go to Madrid. They know that he wants to go to them, so that's already an assured deal for them, pretty much. All they've got to do is make the first move, and I think they will.
Yeah, I think for me, I think there's a lot more of the season left before I can really, have some final judgments. Depends on Madrid. I mean, Vinicius is doing bits right now. I personally think that, it makes more sense for Madrid to stick with him, turn him into the next superstar. I mean, it's like, it's like the journey from FIFA in that sense. 18-year-old Brazilian playing for Real Madrid. That's like so one in a million. But, but it makes this like marketing goal to in that sense, like with all the reputation of players they've had there before. I don't know. I think there's a lot more to happen. Hazard might change his mind. Let's see how the season ends. If it's very positive, if we win the Europa League, if we get into the top 4, if we start winning games, and playing well, who knows what might happen? What are you thinking, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of you. I mean, if I had to bet right now, I would bet that he'd go to Real Madrid, but there's still a lot to play out. And yeah, sure, maybe first and foremost, it's up to Real Madrid, but also making Champions League versus not making Champions League for Chelsea. Could just be a huge decider if Hazard does have to maybe then make a decision and tell Chelsea one way or the other, listen, they've come for me, I want to go, or I'm undecided. If there's no Champions League football, it's going to be a lot easier for him to say, they came for me and I want to go.
Exactly. I mean, honestly, Alex, I'm waiting for you to start the campaign, bro. I'm waiting for you to be like, what was it, reptiles in or something like that instead of reptiles out. I guess Hazard doesn't count as a reptile just yet. Not yet. He'll be a reptile soon, though.
Now, the thing with Hazard for the campaign is like with Hudson-Odoi, like, don't let Cho go. Like, I feel like he's 18 years old. He can be impressionable, but also the club definitely needed to know that we the fans, wanted an 18-year-old to stay. With Hazard, it's like he knows how much we love him, and the club knows how much we love him, and it really just feels like it is kind of up to Real Madrid. But the new hashtag, just to get it out there, to spread the positivity, is hashtag Blues over Blancos.
Blues over Blancos. That's what we're doing from now on, you guys. Hey, Alice, man, when you start them campaigns, they end up coming through. So let's make this a thing. Blues over Blancos. But that's going to bring it in for today's live stream. You guys, thank you for coming on. It's always good. Hopefully, do this again. Maybe hopefully next week. Who knows? The schedule is cool. It's always good hearing the Chelsea community's thoughts on on football and how the club's going right now. I'm going to go through one by one, starting with you, Alex. If you want to just do your outro and say goodbye.
Sure. So once again, you can find me on Twitter at @AlexGoldberg_. Actually, I started a new Instagram page. It's just fun. I haven't really been on IG yet. So that's at @Alex_Goldberg_. Who really cares?
And I've got your Twitter up too. So that's why I wanted to do it individually.
The big one's YouTube, the Byline. Find me there. That's, the venture that I definitely care about a lot these days, and you guys have all been really, really kind to me on the Byline. So yeah, those are where you can find me. And once again, Nini, I really appreciate you having me on.
Cool. Anytime, man. Anytime. Have hope.
Yeah, man. Again, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it, man. And you can find me on YouTube, Have Hope Football Hot. You can find me on Twitter at Have Hope Hot, HAVEHOPEHUT.
Excellent. Obviously, Younes, you're the last one. Boom.
Yeah, man. Nini, thanks for having me on. Thanks for having us all on. It's been a pleasure. Next week, definitely up for it. You can find me on Twitter at YounesHH. You can find me on YouTube, YounesHH as well. And yeah, I just want to say as well to both guys, Double H, Alex, keep doing your thing as well because you're killing it. I feel this community, we've definitely got the best one out of all the clubs in the Premier League, possibly in the world. We've got the best community on YouTube.
Yeah,
I kind of feel that our community is a bit too nice, though, don't you think? Like, we're too nice.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. We need to be a little bit of time on each other, Like, it's getting a bit too PG right here. But, of course, you guys, sorry for the awkward end to this live stream. I'm going to get myself a stream deck. Once I do that, it's going to be much easier. It's going to flow better. But of course, you guys, thank you for coming through. You know what? I'm going to do it one more time. If you want to help support the stream, help support me out, in the link in the description below, there's going to be a link to the One Football app. I'm YounesHH. This is Byline TV. See you guys tomorrow for a 5 talking points video and for a Q&A live stream.